Alright, so we are going to focus on spell jars again. Now, using spell jars isn't a cure-all. I don't want anybody to get that idea. I've been practicing witchcraft, actively practicing for about a year, researching and practicing the very beginnings for about 2 years. So I'm not a professional, of course, but this is all based off of my experience, and if there's anything that you doubt or that you disagree with, or purely just you think something different would work better for you, that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's really what the craft is about, is what works for you. So I'm just going to begin with cleansing my jar. This is lavender incense. Lavender is great for cleansing, peace, protection, good energy. Not a lot of people really use lavender for protection, but I just think it works so wonderfully for protection from negativity. So I'm going to go ahead and cork the jar and let that cleanse a little. Okay. So we did a protection spell jar last time. Oh my god. Yikes. Sorry, jar. So we did a protection spell jar last time. So this time we're going to do a self-love spell jar. Now, spell jars aren't going to cure clinical depression. They're not going to cure cancer. They're not going to do ridiculously crazy things, but I find emotional healing, growing from trauma, protection, and you can even do hexing is something great for spell jars. Now, I don't practice hexing yet. I'm not ready for that, and I don't know when or if I will start. So we're not going to do a video about that. I would go elsewhere for that. But self-love jars, I think, can really work wonders because you're putting your time and energy into making a jar for self-love, and that in and of itself is an act of self-love. So my first ingredient, now that my jar is cleansed, I usually put the salt first. I don't know why. So I'm using Himalayan rock salt. You can use any type of salt that you have. And just like last time, I'm not currently doing an active spell because it would be too difficult for me to really do a spell while recording and explaining it. So this is a demonstration. When you do it, explain to your ingredient what you're calling upon it for, what you want it to do, and make sure you show plenty of things. So I would use Himalayan rock salt for love, good energy, and protection against negativity. Every salt has different properties, so if you're using a different salt, look up the different properties. My next ingredient that I would use is going to be thyme leaves, or you can use ground thyme as well. Thyme is good for courage, trust, and healing. So that's what I would call upon that for. I've had a lot of success for using thyme for emotional trauma and emotional healing and growth. Make sure you're showing plenty of love and thanks to your ingredients because they are helping you and they don't just automatically know what to do. So the next herb I'm going to be adding is going to be oregano. Now, I personally use oregano almost solely for trauma. I don't know, it just, something about the properties of healing that this herb has just really helps heal trauma. And all while I'm doing this, I have a red candle. It's a little too big to fit on camera, but I have a red candle burning. You can use red, white, pink, or even just your favorite color. So the next step is going to be to add lavender. Now, I'm calling upon lavender to bring good energy and to protect me from any bad or negative energy that may try to get in. I don't want negativity to find its way in. I want to feel self-love. Okay. So now come the ingredients that I find really the best for love. So I'm going to add rose petals for self-love. Make sure you specify what you want, you know? Don't just say for love, because that's, so general. I want to feel happy with who I am. I want to love who I am. Then I'm going to push it down a little. So the next I'm going to do is I'm going to add in hibiscus. And I'm going to try to break it up a little. I add hibiscus for self-confidence and self-love, good vibes. Okay, so my final herb that I'm going to be adding is strawberry leaves, which bring a lot of love, passion, good energy. I'm going to add that into my jar. Now this part's optional, but you can add clear quartz, rose quartz, or any crystal that you feel really connected to. I'm adding a clear quartz here. Explain to that crystal what you want from it. And then I'm also going to add a rose quartz. Now the reason, I actually didn't really explain this earlier, but the reason I used a lot of healing herbs is because when you struggle with self-love, it's generally because there's a blockage. You're so filled up with negativity from whatever has caused it. You need to clear all that out so that you can move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cork on my jar. You're going to put your hand on this jar, and you're going to sit with it for as long as you need. Meditate with it, thank it, and all of the ingredients, and you're going to just explain what you want to receive, what you're going to receive. You probably don't want to say what I want, because that's just a bad example of me. This is what you're going to receive. Now, as you explain what you're going to receive, project that into the jar. Imagine the words coming out of your mouth, just flowing into the jar and filling it with your energy. And when you feel that it's ready, you can go ahead and pour your wax on your jar. So your next step is going to be to charge the jar. You can do this with selenite, moonlight, smoke, fire, crystals, and there you go.